朋友们，大家好。果然，中国6代机一上天，就引来了印度网红学者查福特的评论。不过最近以来，他对中国的态度在转变。以前他和 FP 的主播帕尔基一样，极尽黑中国之能事，什么话都敢说。现在似乎在转向，可能是大环境的需要，可能是为了流量，也可能是发现老这么黑中国，节目越来越不好做。毕竟像这几天中国接二连三的展示大国重器，那都是世界第一的存在，差距是肉眼可见的越来越大。你还要硬黑的话，自己都不信了，干脆认清现实，改头换面。我们先来看看他是怎么评论的。
China has recently unveiled its sixth generation fighter jet, which is absolutely mind-boggling. Not only this, but they have also revealed the WZ-9 Divine Eagle unmanned stealth drone. What should India do now? We are lagging behind. What do you think, in how many years will we be able to build marvels like these? China has unveiled its sixth generation fighter jets, and what India has is the 4.5 generation Rafale. China did it before the US and Russia. What are your thoughts on this? We are still planning to launch the fifth generation fighter jet of our own in 2035. Will we ever be able to cover up the gap between the defense capabilities of China and India? Will the West speed up their launching of the sixth generation fighter jets, of their own sixth generation fighter jets? So, first of all, I would like to congratulate China for this superb achievement. I mean, it's not easy to achieve what they've achieved. They've done it before the US. I'm not sure if the US has a working prototype of a sixth generation fighter jet. Maybe they do. Maybe it's secret or whatever. But the Chinese have gone ahead and revealed it. They've actually flown it. So a great achievement by China. And this is what happens when you put in decades of incredibly hard work and you're completely focused on your national priorities. So good job, China. I would like to congratulate our Chinese friends for what they've achieved. Now, what about India? What about the US? What about Russia? I'm sure the US has a sixth generation fighter jet program. The Russians also have it. And sixth generation fighter jets, they have kind of better capabilities than fifth generation fighter planes. So more stealth features, more near space features. They can communicate with networks not just on the earth but also with satellites and so much more. Futuristic weapons and all that. They will have robotic wingman aircraft. They'll have drones that go with them and so much more. So that's a sixth generation fighter plane. The Chinese have done that. The Americans will definitely be pursuing this, whether we know it or not, whether it's revealed or not. And the same can be said about Russia. Now, when it comes to India, we are working on the fifth generation AMCA, Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft project, like it's mentioned over here. It is scheduled to come into operation sometime in the mid 2030s, and we are right now in the mid 2020s, so a decade to go for that. And only then will we have a fifth generation fighter plane. The Chinese have two different fifth generation fighter planes. The Americans have the F-35, and the Turks are working on a fifth generation fighter plane, and there are various other nations that are doing this. The Russians have the Sukhoi 57, which is a project that India was involved in, but for various reasons, India pulled out of it. So India will catch up with the fifth generation technology sometime in the mid 2030s, if things go well. And we can also start working certainly in parallel on sixth generation fighter plane technologies. We certainly can do that on the drawing board and create small scale models and all that. But the main problem that India is facing when it comes to fighter planes is jet engine technology. That's the problem that India is facing, and that's an Achilles heel. Okay, that's something. See, the jet engine is what powers your plane. You may have the best designs in the world, the best airframes and all that stuff, but if you don't have the jet engine technology, then you will forever be dependent on somebody else. And I think we are buying the American General Electric F404 jet engine for the Tejas fighter jet, and the Americans are withholding that right now as a means of squeezing India, arm twisting India. So the entire Tejas fighter plane program can essentially be shut down if the Americans don't supply these jet engines. So that's the conundrum India faces. So I would say that India needs to acquire jet engine technology, acquire it, develop it, buy, beg, borrow, steal, do whatever it takes, but get it done. The best solution is to pay whoever is willing to sell it to you, pay whatever they're asking for, just get the technology, get the ability to manufacture the entire jet engine 100% indigenously in-house in India. Pay for it if required. I'm not sure why it takes so long. I mean, there are countries that are definitely willing to pay for technology. Obviously, they will charge you an arm and a leg. It's not going to be cheap, but it's not like India doesn't have money, right? We have money for all kinds of schemes, freebie schemes, and I'll not name them, but you know what I mean. We have the money. The question is, will somebody be willing to sell jet engine technology? There has been talk of the French Safran getting involved and helping India with the Kaveri jet engine. So that's an option. The Americans will never sell you 100% of the technology. They'll always leave something out. The French may perhaps be more amenable to selling 100% of jet engine technology. Maybe not the best technology that they have, but maybe one generation behind, which is okay, which is fine. So we should pursue that. And obviously, then there is Russian technology. The Sukhoi 30 fighter plane, the Sukhoi 35 also uses a Russian jet engine called the Saturn AL-31 jet engine. And it's a pretty good engine. And even the Chinese planes like the J-10, the J-20, they also use the Saturn AL-31 engine. So maybe we can talk to Russia. How much do you want us to pay for a full transfer of technology? And it's not like we are Russia's adversary of any kind. So we are a friendly nation. I am sure the Russians will be willing to sell it for a certain price. Or maybe the price is geopolitical. We don't quite know, but we have to find a way of doing this. And obviously, even if we buy the full technology, a full transfer of technology from one of these nations, we should still continue developing the Kaveri jet engine completely indigenously. Obviously, we can use learnings from other programs, but we need to do that. And the Kaveri engine, no matter how long it takes, we need to make it work. So the Chinese W whatever jet engine that they use right now, it has taken decades, at least 30-35 years. They've been trying to develop it. There have been lots of setbacks, but they persevered. When it comes to the Kaveri jet engine, we have stopped it and started it multiple times. There have been times when the project was abandoned and then it was restarted after a few years. That's sort of nonsense. Jet engine technology takes time to develop. It takes a lot of iterative improvements, lots of cumulative lessons learned from various kinds of fields. And what we need to do is to invest in a material science program in India. I cannot think of a single Indian research institution that has a world-class material science program. Material science is developing exotic and highly resilient materials that can withstand temperatures that will melt steel. Single crystal nickel blades and whatnot. You need that sort of technology to be able to develop the components of the jet engine and to be able to develop components that can withstand incredibly high temperatures and pressures for incredibly large amounts of time. So that's a process that takes years. So we have to keep persevering with this. So we are definitely far behind the Chinese and even the fifth generation fighter planes that Americans and whoever else, Russians, have developed it. The main Achilles heel for us is the jet engine technology. We don't have it. We need to find it somehow, acquire it somehow. The Chinese tried reverse engineering the Russian jet engine, but eventually, through whatever process, they've been able to develop their own jet engine technology. I'm sure it's not great yet, but at least they're able to use their own jet engines. So that's the main issue that India needs to address right now in the coming, let's say, 5-10 years, jet engine technology. In the meanwhile, we should also work on unmanned aircraft technology. We have a working Kaveri engine that that can power unmanned aircraft, drones, the Ghatak drone, and so on. Dry tests are going to happen soon in Russia. We don't even have a test bed in which we can test jet engines. We don't even have that. So I think India needs to wake the hell up. I'm sure the future can be bright if the right steps are taken. So let's hope for the best. That's what I can say.
看得出来，查福特有点恨铁不成钢，觉得印度在尖端科技这一块与世界顶尖的差距越来越大。面对印度长路漫漫的先进中型战斗机 AMCA 项目，查福特也是显得有点信心不足，建议找个国家商量全套技术转让，多少钱都行。制造战斗机发动机是一个技术高度密集、工业基础要求极高的领域，能够独立制造先进战斗机发动机的国家少之又少，主要集中在技术和工业能力强大的国家，比如美国、俄罗斯、中国、英国、法国，基本上就是联合国5常吧。除了这5个，还有日本和乌克兰，但日本研发的是小型战斗机发动机，乌克兰继承了苏联时期的航空发动机技术，但更多的是侧重运输机和直升机领域。印度一直在努力，但本土研发的 Cavalry 发动机始终达不到要求，项目多次延期且成本超支，现在已经被重新定位，用于无人机或者是其他非核心任务。所以查福特强烈建议向外购买，法国、俄罗斯都是目标。但战斗机全套技术属于国家战略性技术，涉及核心机密，政府通常会对这些技术的出口和转让进行严格控制，即使是企业行为，也需要获得国防与外交部门的批准。另外，国际法规包括瓦森纳协定等多边出口管制机制，对高端武器技术的扩散是有限制的，因为全套技术转让可能导致技术扩散，甚至军备竞争的风险。所以完全转让战斗机的全套技术，比如发动机、雷达系统等核心部件，可能性是极低的。这也就是为什么我们要向千百万默默奉献、努力攻关的中国国防科技工作者致以崇高敬意的原因。